Hello, everyone. Hi, it is Thursday, not Tuesday, Thursday, Tech Thursday. Once again, my name is Virginia, and I'm here with my lovely coworker Liz. And
Hi, everybody.
Where's your other coworker today?
Oh, the orange cat. Yes. I think he's in a meeting right now. A meeting with the sofa downstairs, maybe, or the window watching the birds. So he's unavailable for today's Tech Thursday.
A little bit of a lunch break. Sounds good. All right. So everyone, we're talking about meetings. Is that on purpose?
I feel like this is a segue.
Really good segue. Do you want to mute yourself on now for the on Zoom?
Sure.
I don't know if that helps.
All right. How about now?
Yes, it's good, right? For now. Okay.
Great.
So we were originally thought, well, since a lot of people are using Zoom these days, I'm sure many of you are, like, whether you're using Zoom for work, whether you're using Zoom because you have to participate in a workshop, for example, a library program, or whether you're using Zoom to host a dinner party or a birthday gathering with everybody virtually. I know many of you are probably using some sort of like video conferencing tool to connect with other people online. So we thought at first that it would be nice if we kind of talk about all the things, maybe like some of the things we learned about Zoom that we found really useful, and we wanted to share those tips and tricks with all of you. That was the plan. And then, of course, as we were trying to test this out, I don't know how this is going to go, we realized that because we have one computer, the interesting thing is that you're going to hear us both on this screen, and also when we share our Zoom meeting screen, you're going to hear kind of maybe a little bit of echo. So apologies for the sound weirdness that you might. We'll try to see what we can do to mute ourselves to avoid that, but that might happen. So sorry about that. But we're really excited to share some of the things that we found really useful to us on Zoom, and hope that you will be able to use these tips and tricks in your next Zoom meeting. Anything else to add, Liz, before we go into this echo craziness with our sound?
It's a good intro to Zoom, good segue. Hello to everybody who's watching. If you have any comments for us, questions about Zoom and the functions that we're demoing today, please write a message down in the comments, whether it's during the broadcast or after the broadcast. We always check back, and we'll be happy to answer those for you.
All right. So Liz has invited me to a Zoom meeting. And so we're going to switch over to our Zoom screen and then show you some of the things that we like about using Zoom and how to make it work better for you. So we're going to see so Liz is going to start first, and then so I'm going to share her screen, and we'll see what happened. Let's give this a try.
Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody can see my Zoom screen now. Near the top of the screen, you can see my cursor here. It'll confirm that we are in the window for Zoom. Zoom is its own application, or you could be using it through your web browser. We won't get into how to connect to a meeting or program today. We have instructions for that on all of our Zoom calendar events. And of course, you can always reach out to us if you would like some assistance, especially if it's your first time connecting to a Zoom meeting. So right under there, you can see my face, and I've also got a username. We'll talk about your username or display name in just a moment. And also we see Virginia's name. So Virginia has entered the meeting here. All right, now the first thing that I would like to show you is the view. So right now there's just two of us in the meeting. you can change the view that you get. So one of the types of views that you can get in Zoom is whenever somebody is speaking, whenever somebody makes noise on their end, if their microphone is on, then the camera will automatically feature that person in this big box over here. However, if you're in a birthday party, for example, like Virginia said, or a family or friend meetup, even a staff meeting with colleagues, if you're using it for work, it is nice to be able to see everybody and kind of get that feeling as though you're all sitting around the same table, even if you're not. So to change to that particular view, all we need to do is to move our mouse up to the top right of the screen here, and you'll notice this is a button that says Gallery View with 9 little squares. When we click on that, when we left click with our mouse, then indeed we are shown in squares side by side. So kind of like those old game shows, Hollywood Squares, that kind of thing, the Brady Bunch. We've been known to call it the Brady Bunch. So this way, there's only 2 of us, so we're side by side. If we had 3 people in the meeting, the third person would be down here. If we had 4, it'd be a grid of 4 squares, and etc. I think you can have up to 100 people in a meeting. If you are in a program, especially held by, say, a big company. All right, and so Virginia will tell us about how we can change our display name. Well, Virginia, I don't think I can hear you. So if I can't hear you, then I don't think our audience can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, good. All right, so you can see on my screen right now. Liz, do you want to mute both?
All right, Liz. I'm gonna.
Virginia, can I just interrupt you for a second here? Yeah, it looks like for our home audience, it looks like we are having some audio issues. They're not able to hear us. Anybody viewing, can you hear me right now? I'll just wait a second, see if there's a response in the live comments.
Yeah, it looks like from the comments,
I think when you were
that there's no sounds.
Yeah, I think, thanks for bearing with us if you can hear me. Thanks for bearing with us. These are two video products that apparently aren't meant to be used in conjunction simultaneously with each other.
Apparently not. And I think it's what we're trying to avoid the echo, because we could hear both voices on both, on Zoom and also on our Facebook. And then when we try to mute one, I guess it muted everything probably.
Yeah, maybe if we keep our StreamYard sound on and then just leave our Zoom muted. Corinne can hear us. Excellent.
Yeah, but we're not doing Zoom right now. So why don't we switch back to Zoom and see what happens?
Okay.
And give Corinne and anyone else watching could just let us know. That would be great. So again, sorry about this. We're just gonna see if it works. Okay, so let's switch back to Zoom. We'll mute our Zoom, but leave the StreamYard on, right?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
And
let's try that. Okay. So next we're gonna switch to you.
I think the next bit is you, actually, Virginia. How to change a background.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my video and hope that everything goes well. I don't know if it will. Okay, so the next thing you do, you have probably seen this on a lot of, articles about Zoom. It's one of the fun things that you may want to do is to change the background. You can see my background right now is bookcases, which is fine. I don't mind people seeing my bookcases. However, you may want it to be something else. So how do you change your background? So same thing on Zoom screen. What you want to do is move over where you have the option to turn on and turn off your video. And then click on the little arrow next to it. And then there you have the choice to choose a virtual background. Depending on what your computer is capable of, you may be able to upload your own pictures and use your own. There's also lots out on the internet, like a lot of companies, a lot of movies, for example, have come up with backgrounds that specifically designed for Zoom. So you can also go look for those. But what I'm going to do is just to quickly choose one that is available on Zoom. So I'm going to click on Choose Virtual Background. And you can see these are my choices at the moment. So I'm going to see if I can, well, let's see what happens. So I would like to be in space. So I'm going to close this off so you can see the full effect here. So as you can see, is it perfect? Not at all, because they do suggest if you have a green screen, that's what's better, right? Like, so you can actually hide the background properly. But clearly right now you can see some of my faces, which I guess it fits space, kind of. So that's how you can change your background. So go into video and then just say choose your virtual background. If you like to add your own images, and see whether that works or not, click on this little plus sign here, and that will open up your computer to add an image. And that is how you change your background. Tip number 3.
Nice. Thank you, Virginia. Okay, so, well, I realized that, yeah, all this
is testing our tech skills.
Yeah, that's right. How coordinated are we at?
That's right. And thank you again, everyone, for bearing with us. This is like crazy. All right, the next one is going to be super useful. Super useful.
Yeah. With all this talk about muting and unmuting with sound, this is a very timely tip here within Zoom. So hopefully we don't get much feedback when I go into Zoom. So just bear with me. I'll keep this brief. So when we're sitting idle for a bit in Zoom, you'll notice that the menu bar at the bottom of the screen that has the buttons to mute, unmute, video, etc., it disappears so you get your full screen view. So if I move my mouse at all, then you can see that that menu bar comes back below. So usually when you have multiple people in a meeting, obviously it would get very chaotic if we were all talking all at once, especially for something on a more professional setting. It's usually a good idea to keep yourself muted, especially if maybe you have some background noise. You have other people in the room next door while you're working from home, that kind of thing. Or you're eating something at your desk, you're having a snack, and you don't want everybody to hear those chewing sounds. What you can do to mute yourself is to just left-click on this mute or unmute button. So right now, it's telling me that with that slash through that microphone icon, it's telling me that I am currently muted. So if I do click on that icon, then it will unmute me. And to mute myself again, so you'll notice also there's a bit of green there as I'm talking and it's listening to my voice. I can just click on that to mute myself. Now, something that's super convenient, instead of fumbling with your mouse if you're suddenly called upon to speak, hey, Virginia, what do you think? Liz, what do you think? Instead of me scrambling to get my mouse, a fun tip is when it's my turn to speak, when I want to say something, all I have to do is hold down the space bar. So I tap on the space bar, I can say what I want to say, and then I can release it. And then it goes back to that mute status. So if I'm already muted, hold down the space bar while I'm talking so they can hear me, and then release that space bar. And then I'm back to mute. Super quick and handy.
That's my favorite tip, Liz. That is so good. Like, I love it. Yeah, because that's so handy when you're trying to, like, rather than trying to find the little green microphone icon or doing all of that, you just like spacebar. It's great. Like if you're on a keyboard, so it's good. Do you also want to talk about, as a host, because you're a host, how do you mute everyone?
Yeah. So if you are hosting a meeting, and maybe not everybody's adhering to the one speaker at a time rule, or there is the sounds happening, not even in the room, just outside. What you can do as if you are a meeting host is to mute people at your own will. So use this power wisely. With great power comes great responsibility. So as the host, I can just move my mouse down here to participants, and I will give that a click. And then you'll get this sidebar that comes up on the right-hand side of the screen. So right now, we can see next to each person's name, there is a microphone as well as a webcam icon. So right now, the microphone icons are crossed out and they're red. That means they're muted. If, for example, Virginia was not muted and I could hear people cutting grass outside of her window, as sometimes happens, instead of saying, hey, Virginia, can you mute that, please? I can just go ahead and click that for her. And that's that. It helps to keep the peace in your meetings.
So much power as a host. So much power. It's great. Yeah, so use that power wisely and responsibly, like Lisa said. So the next thing we're going to do is, so she can mute me, but can she stop me from talking? Well, that's fine. No, I can have a different way of talking, I guess. So what I'm going to do is to show you my screen now. So yes, she can mute me. So you can see this is a little muting thing here, but I can still type and have a conversation that way. And to do that, what you want to do is, again, just if you don't see any of these icons, just move your mouse on the screen and then all the icons will show up again. So I'm going to click on the chat box. This is another way to talk to other participants in your meeting. So I'm going to click on that now, and the same screen sort of show up. What you can do here is that you can type your message, and you can choose to talk to everybody or just talk to Liz, because Liz is the host, so I have a choice between the two. As a host, I believe Liz has more options. She can talk to everyone or address a particular individual, I believe. Is that correct, Liz? Do you see that on your screen? Yes, she said yes.
I'm pretty sure, but now you've planted that seed of doubt, so let me just check that.
But again, Liz, the host, has much more power than me.
Yeah, so do you have a bit more, if we had an additional person in the meeting or multiple other people in the meeting, then I would see their names show up once I click on that menu.
Perfect. So for on my screen, as you can see, it's either everyone or Liz. So if I type in something, it will go to everybody on the Zoom meeting. You can also put, like, if we're talking about something and you want to put a link, you can like put a link in there. And it looks like you can also attach a file if you want, and then send that file to somebody through the chat box. So really handy, especially during a meeting. The only thing I would say is that you see that when I click on this little thing here, it says save chat. So what you might want to be aware of is that even though you might be having a private conversation with somebody, or you think you're having a private chat with somebody, and you make sure that you only choose a particular person, when the host ends the meeting, they could potentially save the chat. And when they save the chat, it has all the chat history, including all the private chats. So just like everything else online, nothing is really private. So just watch out for that, in case you're having like a work meeting and, you're having a side conversations, maybe not on Zoom. That's all we're saying. So this is how you can do a chat with people in the meeting. And that's also very useful sometimes, because maybe you're attending a workshop, it's a presentation, and sometimes the presenter might ask questions, or you might have a question for the presenter. You might want to put it in the chat box, and then that will pop up on the screen saying that there is a chat, and then they would know to address your question during the meeting. So this is a good way to use the chat to talk to your presenters if you're attending a workshop. All right, Liz, what's next?
Well, there's another feature in Zoom that will allow you to express yourself. Although maybe you don't feel like expressing yourself with words. Maybe you just want to give a quick yes or great. Without typing that in. I know it annoys some people when people just write one-word responses in the chat, and it just pushes all the chat further and further and further. So we have this button called Reactions in Zoom, and there's only 2 reactions. So if we click on that, you'll probably see on the right-hand side there's a thumbs up, and then there's also it's 2 hands clapping, like bravo, way to go, good job. So if Virginia said something that I particularly liked, for example, that great tip about watch what you write on the chat, I'm going to give her a thumbs up. And you can see that's showing up in my window so that everybody in the meeting knows where that's coming from. And then it disappears after a few beats. So once you've made a reaction, there's no way for you to unmake the reaction. It'll just disappear on its own. But there's only 2, and they're both positive, so if you accidentally hit one, it's probably not the end of the world.
I love how they have no thumbs down.
No, it's only good vibes here.
Right, they don't give you that option, thumbs down.
Yeah, just trying to keep everybody happy right now. And what else do we have? I think
screen share.
yeah, since we're sharing our screens with you using a different product, but within Zoom, you have the same capability to share something else on your computer.
So Liz, are we doing like triple sharing right now?
I'm sorry, are we doing?
Like we're doing triple sharing, right? Like we're sharing, right? This is gonna be like really complicated.
Like Inception.
Right? Just share, yeah.
Share within share. Yeah. Oh, it took me a second. I was like, whoa, that just blows my mind. All right, well, here we go, everybody, down the rabbit hole. So I am going to share something else with you through this share. And to do that, we bring up our menu again by moving our mouse. And right at the bottom in green is share screen. So because I am the host, I do have the capability to share my screen at will. To do that, all I have to do is left click on this button, and then it gives me the option to select what I would like to share with all of you. I don't think everybody can see that particular pop-up window.
Yeah, no, it doesn't show up on the stream for some reason.
Okay, I'll do my best to describe this to you. So once you click share screen, a different window will pop up, and it'll give you different icons of what you want to share. So if you have a web browser open, for example, or a particular folder open on your computer, and you want to share that, you can do so. I'm just going to find something to share with you.
It's so weird that it doesn't show because you're sharing your screen, so why wouldn't we see those boxes that pop up?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like, you know, if you were in my Zoom meeting, what it would look like for me to share something with you. So let's take a look here. So right now you can see the back end of my StreamYard. I'm going to change it to a different tab on my web browser. So right now you should be seeing the Port Moody Library homepage.
It's just a blank screen.
And that's something that it's just a blank screen. Okay.
How I can see it in the Zoom.
So essentially,
like, yeah.
As a meeting participant?
Yeah.
Right on. So I guess I'll describe to you what Virginia is seeing. So right now, when you share a screen with somebody, so I've shared a screen with everybody in the meeting, which is Virginia. Sorry, folks at home. Essentially, she is seeing my web browser because that's what I've selected to share. And she's seeing it as if it is on her very own computer. So it pretty much takes over her entire screen. And I'm just going to stop.
Share my screen and see what happens. So
sure.
Yeah. So I think they may or may not be able to see it. So they just may have seen the screen earlier. So.
I'm there. Not having any luck, Virginia.
It was a little bit frozen just now, so I am not sure. We're just having all the internet troubles today. Yeah. So
Tech Thursday.
That's how exactly Tech Thursday. That's how you share your screen, right? Let's see. Okay, so let's try the other thing. Instead of sharing screen, you might want to do a brainstorming session with somebody during your meeting. So what Zoom also provides, one of the options is to do a whiteboard. So that's what I'm going to try, and then Liz can tell me whether it actually shows up or not. So I'm going to switch over to my Zoom screen here. So this is my Zoom screen, and now it's my turn to share. So as long as Liz as a host let the participants share their screen, then I'll be able to do it. And I can see that I have a green button here. I'm going to click on that. And then my options are to share a bunch of things. You probably can't see it, but I'm going to click on.
I can see it.
Oh, can you? So why won't you show your stuff? So weird. Okay.
I am on a Mac.
And what are you implying here? What are you implying here, Liz? Are you drawing that conclusion that I'm drawing? No. Let's not go there. Okay, so what I can do is I can click on a whiteboard. So this is what Liz was doing earlier. So she's sharing your screen. I'm going to share the whiteboard with you. So then once you choose the one, click on share. And do you see a whiteboard, Liz?
I do see a whiteboard.
Okay, cool. All right. So you can see it's just like a real whiteboard. You can put text in here. You can also do some drawing, maybe. So you can like click on.
So I can't see your controls.
Okay.
I think. This is great.
But can you see my
oh no,
arrow?
we can. I can. Our viewers at home can see the controls.
Yeah, so I can draw an arrow. I can put a heart on here. I can erase things. Right, just like what you would normally do on a whiteboard. So it's very, very handy if you're just doing some brainstorming, or maybe you want to play a game like we do in the lunchtime. If you want to play a Pictionary game, this is something you can use to do your Pictionary. So that is sharing a whiteboard, and you can also save it once, say if you're doing something work related and you want to save it, that's something you can save. You can save an image of your whiteboard afterwards. All right. So I have just stopped sharing, and then now I'm back to my Zoom screen.
Okay. So our next feature of Zoom is remote control. And what that means is you can actually give another person in the meeting control of your mouse or the cursor on the screen, and they can, for example, click around on your screen as if they're sitting right where you are using your keyboard and mouse. So a little freaky, but sometimes that comes in handy. For example, when we're doing coding classes, we have examples of great demo games for the kids to enjoy, to see what kind of things they can build. And we'll give them temporary control of the mouse and keyboard so that they can play the game that is up on our own computer screen, so they don't have to go to a page and load it themselves. Now, to do that, I believe I need to share something first, and then at that point, other people in the meeting will be able to request that remote control access. So I'm just going to hop on a Zoom and share my web browser again.
Okay, so we can see your web browser.
That's right, isn't it?
Right. Okay. Why don't I share my and see if you can remote control my? Let's do that.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So I'm here. So I'm gonna share screen. I'm gonna pick. I don't know. Whatever this on there. Let's do that one. So I'm gonna go share. Okay, and then let's. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Port Moody library page. Hope everyone can see it. It's slowly loading. All right, and then now Liz is going to request to control my screen.
Okay, so let's see. So to do that, now Virginia, remind me whose view are the folks at home getting right now? Is it my view or your view?
getting my view. So what I can do is I can also give you control. So maybe that's easier. So right now it's showing my screen. So this is my screen right now. I have control over my mouse. I just click on the box so that I can go into the search box. But what I can do is if I move my mouse up to the top, some additional options will show up. And one of the things is called remote control. So if I click on that, I can give the control to Liz because she's another person in the meeting. So I'm going to click on Liz's name. And then it says now it's waiting for Liz to control my screen. So she will get a pop-up on her screen saying, hey, somebody is giving you control. So let's see what Liz does with my screen. Oh, I can see she's typing. I'm not typing right now. I know you can. Yes, you just have to trust us on this. I can see Liz just type in crafts in the search box. So it's my computer, my screen, but she is completely controlling it right now.
Oh, the power.
Right? She can do whatever. And I think it's probably because she's a host, I can even like get my control back. So this is the scary thing.
Oh my goodness.
Don't give your control to anyone else except people you trust, because I cannot get my, she's doing everything. So
the things I can do right now. So in that situation, I'm just going to take a quick peek back at the StreamYard screen. So so up where I see Virginia's mouse is up in the green bar there, and and then she's got the menu there for remote control. Now, if she didn't initiate remote control for me, also in the same general vicinity, up at the top of the screen, there would be a drop-down menu, and within there, I could request remote control, and then also in this situation, I can also stop remote control. So I'm going to stop that right now.
Yay!
All yours.
Yep. So very, very fun when you're doing this. The other thing also, of course, when you are doing screen sharing, I'm trying to describe something to Liz, for example, and she's like, I don't see it. What are you talking about? I can actually annotate. So just like your whiteboard just now, but I can actually draw on the screen to show her where it is. For example, click here, and I can like just draw on the screen to let her know. So yeah, so that's something also you can do. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and let's head back to StreamYard. All right, Liz, what do you think? Is that is that the tips that we've got for everybody?
I hope so. Yeah, I feel like these are the core things. One other thing I do want to point out is that if, for example, you're in a Zoom meeting and you feel like you're a good multitasker and maybe you have something urgent that needs to be done, not necessarily something that we condone, but it's up to you. It's your computer. So you can, just like other applications, you can minimize your Zoom window, make it smaller, maybe make it half of the size of your screen so you can still see everybody and what's being shared. And then if you're, for example, working in your web browser or using Microsoft Word, for example, working on a document, or maybe you're taking meeting minutes, you can shrink your screen by minimizing the screen, dragging it to the size you want, and have the two up side by side so they can be running concurrently. So just make sure you be mindful of your mutes and your unmutes and paying attention, especially if your camera's on.
Sorry, Liz, I think I must have lost your sound, but it's probably me. So more technical issues on my side, probably. So anyway, so if you want to say bye to everybody, I'll say bye to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Do say whatever you need to say, because I have no idea what you just said just now. So hopefully you were just supposed to say bye to everybody. But anyway, so I don't know what's happening today. But anyway, this is Tech Thursday. Usually it doesn't cause us as much trouble, but thank you for bearing with us. We're really glad that you can join us again. Hopefully next week we will choose something that does not make life so complicated. Sharing screen within sharing screen within sharing screen. So we'll try that. So thank you again. We will see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.